You might be asking why I'm doing a video on Hunter Biden. He received a pardon, so no one can go after him anyway. Why does it matter? Just wait until you see what I've dug up. In the last month, Hunter Biden has done a series of interviews with the YouTube channel Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan. Before I get to Hunter Biden, let me explain who Andrew Callahan is. He runs a liberal YouTube channel with over 3 million subscribers. And he does things like trick conservatives into doing interviews and then editing the interviews to make them look stupid. And to be fair, conservative YouTube channels do similar things to liberals. When you look at a conservative like Steven Crowder, he posts tons of videos making fun of liberals.
Are doctors sexist?
I think some doctors are sexist.
Are doctors transphobic if they refer to their patients who have a penis and they come in for a prostate exam as a male? Is that doctor hate speaking? Is that an act of aggression?
I think if that doctor misgenders their patient, then yeah, they are being transphobic.
Okay. Well, my mind has not changed, but I think I tried to find some common ground. I'm sorry that we didn't.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madison.
I'm not going to shake your hand.
I figured.
But there is a big difference between Steven Crowder and Andrew Callahan. What Steven Crowder is doing is upfront, out in the open, and honest. The way that Andrew Callahan does it is really nasty. I will give you an example. He did an interview with a QAnon shaman from prison, and the whole way he produced this interview was to try and make him look silly and discredit what he was saying.
There's a certain Rockefeller that looks just like John Podesta, and John Podesta looks just like the singer from what's his name? From Lincoln Park. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Chester Bennington.
Chester Bennington. Thank you. Yeah, they all look like strikingly similar. Okay, Merkel in Germany looks just like Hitler. Barbara Bush looks just like Aleister Crowley. What we're talking about is like a 6,000-year-old death cult that has been sacrificing children, like what was going on in Babylon and in the Canaanites, where they were sacrificing children to Baal and Moloch and all that stuff. Okay, there's international bankers that own whole economies. There are international bankers that own whole countries and whole economies, okay? And these individuals are able to control and corrupt whole institutions of government, of corporations, banking.
Right. So I just wanted to say, I feel that when people talk about ritual murder and the satanic sacrifice of children, I think that raises a lot of red flags for people in terms of like anti-Semitism, because people used what they call blood libel all throughout the 20th century to provide justifications for genocide, and it was kind of spread as propaganda because saying that someone eats babies is like the worst thing you can say about someone. Pretty much, it's like, if you lose all your friends, like if people think you eat babies, like it's over for your career and social life.
Andrew Callahan is taking this man who is suffering in prison at the lowest point in his life. The reporter tricks him into a biased interview and then makes fun of him by editing in a liberal article from Wikipedia. This is so dishonest and nasty. And remember that the QAnon shaman was innocent. He was charged with 1512c2, which was overturned by the Supreme Court. This man was innocent and was being held in prison for protesting against the government. That's the real story. But instead of reporting on that, Andrew Callahan is trying to smear this patriot. I find it dishonest and nasty. That is the context of these interviews with Hunter Biden. Two nasty people sitting down together and having a conversation. In total, it is 4.5 hours of interviews. I listened to it so that you don't have to. Here's what happened. For the first 2 hours, Hunter Biden talks about being a drug addict. He explains that the attacks against him are unfair because he is the victim.
You go down these rabbit holes and you do exactly what they say. As long as they say laptop loud enough, often enough, you automatically, and Hunter Biden, crack cocaine, and, here's the picture, and here he is shirtless, smoking crack in a bathtub, and, I keep flashing that over and over again, and I say Hunter Biden, laptop, Ukraine, China, Hunter Biden, laptop, bird flu. Like, literally, you keep doing that over and over and over again? What, none of it bears any resemblance to reality. The reality is this. I ran into legal trouble based on two things. One is I failed to pay my taxes on time. There's a box that you check. In that box, when you go to purchase a gun, says that you're not addicted to a narcotic, illegal substance, including marijuana. And I checked that box.
He explains that everything is being taken out of context, and all of his bizarre actions can be explained away by his drug addiction. He thinks that he was unfairly charged with tax evasion and violating gun laws. He claims that he was targeted for political reasons.
By the way, over 50 million Americans a year pay their taxes late. There are over $100 billion in taxes that there are identified people that have failed to pay their taxes for over 5 years. Okay?
This makes me furious. He thinks it is unfair that he was even charged. How delusional is this person? If you or me or any of us normal people did even a fraction of the things that Hunter Biden did, we would be in prison. This guy got a slap on the wrist, and he is claiming that he is the victim. That is a two-tiered system of justice, and that is why people are upset.
I've been investigated by the House Oversight Committee, the House Ways and Means Committee, the House Judiciary Committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Senate Oversight Committee, and I have been investigated by Maine Justice, the U.S. Attorney in Pittsburgh, the U.S. Attorney in Philadelphia, the U.S. Attorney in District of Columbia, the U.S. Attorney in Los Angeles, the U.S. Attorney of Delaware, the Special Counsel's Office. Not one single person has ever accused me of a crime based upon anything that was in or discovered as it relates to my laptop. Not one. Not a single thing about my laptop.
Do you see the sneaky way that he worded this? Not one single person has ever accused me of a crime. That is a slick talker. He did not say that they did not find any evidence of a crime, just that they did not accuse him of one. That is what is so frustrating, because we have all seen the evidence from the laptop that there were crimes. And now he is claiming that since he was never charged with any crimes while his dad was the president, he did nothing wrong. Not because of the evidence, but because his dad never charged him. That is a two-tiered system of justice. Let me ask you this, Hunter Biden. If you did nothing wrong, why did your dad give you a pardon?
They uncovered 20 years unvarnished of every single communication that I've ever had over a phone, or by text, or over email, or computer, in any digital way. There's not one communication that you can even remotely say is evidence of a crime. Not one. Not one time. Not one communication. I would challenge anybody to show one instance, other than me seeking drugs.
What about the email that talks about 10% for the big guy? What about the text message where Hunter is threatening a Chinese businessman saying, "I am sitting here with my father"? What about the mayor of Moscow's wife transferring $3.5 million to Hunter Biden's business? Why does he not bring up any of these things in this interview? I do not care that Hunter Biden is a drug addict. What I care about is all the shell companies and the checks and the bank statements. I care that there is evidence of treason against the United States. Let me ask a big picture question. Joe Biden has spent his whole life in politics. He earned $155,000 a year as a senator. Joe Biden has a house in Delaware worth $1.4 million. He has a beach home in Delaware worth $2.74 million. How does he afford these homes on a politician's salary? Everyone can see that the math does not add up. How did he get his money? It certainly seems like something shady is going on. Then Hunter Biden goes on to talk about his paintings.
Like, what is Fox News talking about? Anybody that mentions my name in Crime Family in the same, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, okay, believe the worst case scenario that you believe about me. Believe that I was painting paintings, not because I've been a painter my whole life, not because it literally saved my life, not because it's really meaningful to me. Believe that I was painting paintings to somehow curry favor with whomever, okay?
Hunter Biden says that his paintings were completely innocent. We know that Hunter Biden's lawyer, Kevin Morris, testified in his deposition that he paid $875,000 for 11 paintings. Except he claims that he never gave Hunter Biden any cash. He just wrote off loans that Hunter Biden supposedly owed him. In the same deposition, we learned that Hunter Biden owes Kevin Morris millions of dollars in loans. In fact, it has been reported that Kevin Morris gave Hunter Biden $4.9 million between 2020 and 2022. Does that seem strange to anyone? It seems like something suspicious is going on with these paintings. Then Hunter Biden attacks the Democrats. He says that they should not have removed his father as the presidential candidate in 2024. This is what he said about George Clooney, who wrote an op-ed in the New York Times against Joe Biden.
Kim, and everybody around him. I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. You, what do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the New York Times to undermine the president?
Why does Hunter Biden have to swear so much? George Clooney is not the problem. George Clooney was probably the only person looking out for Joe Biden's best interests. Let's look at what is actually going on. Joe Biden is dying from late-stage prostate cancer. They claim this was only discovered in May. I find it unbelievable that they did not know that Joe Biden was dying from cancer while he was still the president. But just for the sake of argument, let's take them at their word. Let's say that the Democrats had no idea that Joe Biden was dying from cancer. But you know now, how is Hunter Biden sitting there arguing that Joe Biden should not have been removed from the ticket? He is dying from cancer. What is he talking about? This sounds like elder abuse. At one point, Hunter Biden makes a statement that I think is very revealing.
Is the one thing that binds each and every one of us is not necessarily love. People can go through life without being loved. It's not the only experience that we will all have between the time we're born and then we die is pain. And being able to recognize pain is a thing that connects us all. Is a real gift, I think, at least, and given me a lot of strength when I needed it.
He says, the only experience that we will all have between the time we're born and when we die is pain. That is his philosophy on life. That is really sick. Why is he so obsessed with pain? That sounds like someone who has never known love. Of all the beautiful, wonderful, meaningful aspects of life, the one thing that Hunter Biden focuses on is pain. It's no wonder that he's such a train wreck. Then there was a second Hunter Biden interview from his Ocean View property in Los Angeles. In this interview, he attacks Donald Trump on Jeffrey Epstein.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, do I think that there's an actual list? No, I don't think that there's an actual list. I don't think that he was that stupid. But do I think that what they do have implicates him? Yeah, I think so. You know? I mean, Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. The connections are like so wide and deep. Anyway, why do we think they don't want the files released? I don't know.
Hunter Biden makes the bombshell claim that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania to Donald Trump. Melania Trump disputes this claim and sent a cease and desist letter to Hunter Biden threatening to sue him for $1 billion for defamation. Then Hunter Biden did a third interview where he responded to Melania Trump by saying this.
He didn't make these claims out of nowhere. They come from another journalist named Michael Wolff, who is a biographer that actually spoke to Jeffrey Epstein. But now here we are. And I've got $1 billion document in my hands because Mrs. Trump is seeking $1 billion in damages if we don't take the video down and if Hunter here doesn't issue a formal apology to Mrs. Trump. So now we're here maybe to give you the platform to apologize to the First Lady for your statements that you made about her possible connection to Jeffrey Epstein.
That's not going to happen.
This is shocking to me. Why doesn't he just say that he doesn't know what happened? He misspoke and he is sorry. That's what a normal person would say. Hunter Biden, let me give you some advice. It's one thing if you're going to attack Donald Trump, but don't attack another man's wife. What is even more shocking is in this same video, Andrew Callahan contacts the reporter who originally came up with this allegation against Melania.
Epstein didn't make the direct introduction.
I don't know exactly what the direct introduction. I think that he was at that party where they met. So, I mean, again, I think it's just very important to be clear about this, that this was a circle of people who knew each other. Everyone knew everyone.
What? So the reporter is even walking back his statements. It certainly sounds like this was all a hoax to get Trump. What I also find shocking is that Hunter Biden starts attacking Trump on the border.
I don't see the merits to any argument in which the way in which you solve a problem is by completely dehumanizing people, utilizing the tools of a fascist dictatorship.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
No, do I believe in that? No. Yeah. It's the oldest political tool in the toolbox, which is, hang 'em high, I got no problem with people that are deserving of punishment to be punished. But to create an entire system in which you have no due process, no habeas corpus, no ability of any judicial review as it relates to the state's actions against you, without any chance of pleading your case or your innocence or or any tempering of whatever it is that you have been accused of doing, it's barbaric. That's why we have a constitution. That's why we have rights under that constitution. And that's why the Supreme Court has continuously held over the past 250 years is that, certain punishments are outside the scope of any human being's constitutional rights.
I'm about to lose my mind. Does he not see the irony in these statements? Joe Biden rounded up over 1,000 Americans for January 6th. Most of whose charges were overturned by the Supreme Court. They were convicted in kangaroo courts with biased juries. How dare he sit there and lecture us about human rights for people who are not even American citizens? Joe Biden destroyed the lives of thousands of people over January 6th. So what Hunter Biden is really saying here is that people should have human rights unless they are Republicans. Then he thinks they should be rounded up and thrown in jail. That is corruption, and it is disgusting. How dare he ignore the lives of thousands of Americans that his family destroyed? But the thing I found the most shocking about Hunter Biden's interviews is that he talks about Miles Gow.
So when the laptop story came out as the October surprise, the advice was don't respond to it because the insanity of what they were saying about, like Miles Gow was going out there with that guy in New Zealand who took the hard drives in New Zealand and was pressing a story about how I was running sex trafficking rings in China, okay?
I keep reporting on Miles Gow on my channel because I think what is happening to him is so unjust. He received a ridiculous conviction in a corrupt New York trial where he was accused of fraud. I have covered this case in depth. The money is still there. There are no victims. The whole case against him is crazy. And now we have Hunter Biden talking about Miles Gow in his interviews. He brings him up on 3 separate occasions. He talks about Miles Gow almost more than anyone else in these interviews.
The first thing that they did, that Bernie Kerik and Gow and Giuliani did, on separate tracks, Gow with Bannon and Giuliani and Kerik did, is they accused me of pedophilia. And they kind of held up the laptop. I mean, it was like the ultimate McCarthy era. It's like, I got a list in my breast pocket. It was like, I got a laptop and it has, and hinted at underage girls, in Rudy Giuliani's words.
Pictures of underage girls.
And then they just let that sit out there. And then Gow went out with that guy in New Zealand, and he actually put out like doctored images of like children in cages in Beijing or something like that, in which, they're supposedly coming from my laptop.
It sounds to me like the real reason that Miles Gow is in prison is because of a personal vendetta by the Biden crime family. Am I the only person who is noticing this? Please comment down below if this makes sense. Let me remind you what happened. 1 month before Miles Gow was arrested, Hunter Biden's lawyer sent this letter to Miles Gow. The letter says that they think that Miles Gow has materials related to the laptop and that he needs to hold on to those materials for future litigation. Then 1 month later, Miles Gow was arrested. After Miles Gow was taken away, the FBI searched his New York apartment and a fire broke out. We will never know what evidence was destroyed in this fire. It doesn't take a genius to connect all these dots. What Hunter Biden's interviews prove to me is that Miles Gow is innocent and was put in jail as a political prisoner by the Biden crime family. If that's not true, why is Hunter Biden talking about him so much? I keep telling you guys, Miles Gow is important. If Miles Gow ever gets out of prison, I bet he would be able to tell us what Hunter Biden was really doing in China. So I watched all the interviews between Hunter Biden and Andrew Callahan, and I came away with one main thought. Something does not seem right about this. I'm getting a sense that something is out of place. Has anyone else noticed this? All of Hunter Biden's comments are too egotistical, too arrogant, and cocky. He's acting as if he just got away with the crime of the century and he knows he can never be prosecuted. That's the attitude he's portraying. Let's remember what his situation is supposed to be. He is supposed to be millions of dollars in debt. His father is dying. He can no longer work by sponging off his father's political position. He should be in a very tenuous, stressful position. And yet, he's very publicly attacking President Trump. And he's doing these interviews from his home overlooking the Pacific Ocean. How is he paying for this? Something does not add up here. Now again, I know you're going to ask, why does any of this matter since Hunter Biden has a pardon? Let's go to the pardon. This says that Hunter Biden receives a pardon for any offenses from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024. It's funny that this time frame starts just after Hunter Biden starts taking trips to China with his father when he was vice president. Let's go step by step through what we know about Hunter Biden and I will show you the problem with his pardon. There's a region in New York called the Finger Lakes. There are a lot of rich people who live in houses around these lakes with strange tunnels that run underneath them. There have also been a number of people arrested for a massive child sex crime ring that was operating in this same region. We know from the photos on the laptop that Hunter Biden is so obsessed with the Finger Lakes that he got a massive tattoo of them on his back. In fact, he was so obsessed with one of the lakes called Skaneateles that he named his company after it, Skaneateles LLC. In December 2013, Hunter Biden traveled with Joe Biden to China while he was vice president. During this trip, Hunter Biden met with a Chinese executive named Jonathan Lee. A business entity named BHR Partners was registered 2 weeks later. The R in BHR stands for one of Hunter Biden's companies named Rosemont Seneca Thornton. At the beginning, Hunter Biden and his associates owned 30% of the company. The H stands for Harvest Fund Management, which is closely tied to the Chinese Communist Party. The director of Harvest Fund Management is Henry Zhao, the same person that Hunter sent the text message saying, "I am sitting here with my father." In 2016, BHR bought a $2.65 billion cobalt mine in the Congo. This was extremely controversial for the vice president's son to help a Chinese company acquire a valuable resource used in electric vehicles. The next year, in 2017, Hunter Biden's lawyer said that Hunter actually paid into the company to acquire a 10% equity stake for only $420,000. This is the same year as the text message to Henry Zhao. When Joe Biden became president, Hunter Biden sold his stake to his lawyer, Kevin Morris, the same lawyer that has been buying Hunter Biden's paintings and loaning him millions of dollars. Meanwhile, Joe Biden as president is making bizarre decisions that benefit China while screwing over the American people. Like selling the U.S. Strategic Oil Reserve to China. Why would he do that? Do you remember how high gas prices were under Joe Biden? And he's selling off our oil reserves to China? Then in 2023, there was a contract leaked by a whistleblower showing Kevin Morris as the managing member of Skaneateles LLC. Here's the last 2-year report filed in DC, which means that Skaneateles LLC was disbanded shortly after the agreement with Kevin Morris. This is where the evidence goes cold. Kevin Morris likely formed a new company and transferred the assets there. We don't know much else. Until something strange happened recently. Let's go back to the pardon. The way that pardons work is they don't cover anything that happens after they are issued. Pardons assume that going forward, you're going to stop committing crimes. So Hunter Biden was issued a pardon up until December 1st, 2024. If he did anything crooked after that date, the pardon no longer covers it. He can still be prosecuted. Here's the current website for BHR. We know it is the same company because their About Us page says, "Our investment philosophy and unique platform have attracted domestic and international institutions such as Harvest Fund Management, Ulysses, and Skaneateles and Thornton Group to join us." If we go to the news center on the website, you will notice something strange. Here are the latest news stories about the company. There is a massive gap between the last two stories. There's a recent story in 2025 about a company name change, but the last story before that was from 2017, when the company closed the deal for the cobalt mine. Does this seem strange to anyone? Hunter Biden was involved in this cobalt deal, then he gets 10% of the company, and then the company just freezes. It's almost like it was just a holding company by the Chinese government for Hunter Biden's 10%. It does not do anything until 2025. Joe Biden leaves office, and then there is some mysterious company restructuring where they change the company name. This is where things get strange. There are 2 different versions on the website. The version I am showing you, I translated from Chinese. Here you can see the Chinese version with the 2025 date. But when you look at the English version, they changed the date to 2023. Why would this company create a separate version for English-speaking people with a different date that was covered by Hunter Biden's pardon? This seems very shady. Let's look at this press release. It says that the company is moving from Shanghai to Shenzhen. This is a typical notice you might see during a company restructuring. We don't know exactly what is going on, but it could be the result of a change in ownership. Does anyone else think this is odd? Did BHR pay out the money for the equity stake to Kevin Morris? Did Kevin Morris then transfer the money to Hunter Biden? I think it is very strange that BHR did nothing since 2017, and as soon as Joe Biden leaves office, there is a company restructuring. In my opinion, this looks like bribery. To be clear, we don't know this for sure. Hunter Biden could be completely innocent. But there certainly are a lot of suspicious things going on. There should be an investigation. Congress has subpoena power. Most of the information I'm showing you came from the investigation from Congress. This was one of the best investigations they have ever done. But why did they stop? I understand that Joe Biden did not want to arrest his son while he was the president. But Hunter Biden's dad is no longer the president. Why are we not investigating him? They can subpoena contracts and bank statements. How is Hunter Biden getting all of his money? Why is he acting so cocky all of a sudden? What did Kevin Morris do with the assets after Scaniatalis LLC was closed? Are they involved at all in the restructuring of BHR in 2025? If Hunter Biden has received any money at all from Kevin Morris or BHR since December 1st, 2024, that could be a bribe. Again, this is all allegedly. We do not know this for sure, but I would like to see an investigation. I believe there are bad people in this world, and sometimes bad people get themselves into positions of power. When those bad people reveal themselves, it's our job to correct those wrongs. The American people have worked so hard for our freedoms. I see ordinary Americans making hard sacrifices every day. We should not have to accept watching our leaders getting rich by selling out the American people to foreign governments. There was a lot of shady things surrounding Hunter Biden, and I think we need an investigation to get to the bottom of it. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think that Hunter Biden is involved in something shady? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. If you find my videos helpful, consider signing up for a membership on my website, wolvesandfinance.com. For $6 a month, your support helps me to keep making these videos. Thank you to everyone who has signed up. I'm Zach from Wolves and Finance. Thank you for watching.